Hey everybody, my name's Randy Wittes. That's the 67 Chevelle, and it's my shop. Kind of dirty. But we've been busy. So, last video we were doing gaps. Did this gap over here, and the door gaps, and, you know, fix that fender, door gaps. They're all looking good. Fix this thing, had to cut it in half, widen it, put a piece in. So we got that gap all tightened up. And, well, so that gap's tightened up. Warped the crap out of the hood because I got too carried away on my welding, didn't let it cool. But that's okay, we'll fix it. So, next thing. You're gonna like this. We're really gonna mess up this hood. We're gonna cut this bad boy right down the middle here, and we're gonna raise it because I like big scoops. Can't not lie. So that's what's going on next. See you in a minute. Ready, set, go. No. Whoopsie. Gonna hurt. Well, I was trying to lay out a template or a line or something. That's not working. So sometimes you just have to, you know, jump in with both feet and cut it. Yeah, just kidding. But sometimes, yeah, you just need to jump in. But what I did do, took the hood off, if you can see. I couldn't just jump in and cut it because I have to deal with this first. So I've got to release these spot welds before I can do anything. Okay, get them all released. From there. It's gonna be a little tricky. I'm gonna be cutting right about here. I want to be in the curve. Well, let's flip it over. That's released, so it'll move up. And I'm getting too old to pick up these pick up these steel hoods anymore. Interesting. Okay. So, all right. That's fine. That's fine. Because of the angle of that, I can't lift this up. So I'm going to have to I'm going to try to finagle it, but I'm probably going to end up cutting it off. Because, you know, that's the way things happen. Never just cut and dried. Apparently, there's a brace that goes, well, the back screen piece comes down, goes like this. Okay, well, I cut that lip. Good deal. There's more to the story. Apparently, there's an inner shell that comes down before this turn. So I flip it over and figure out what that is. Getting a good upper body workout, that's for sure. Well, in making this, so it was kind of a functional cowl, they enclosed the inside here as indicated by the spot welds. And that's attached to this right here. So yeah, that's a double panel. I'm gonna look at this and figure out how to tear it apart. See you in a minute. Would have been nice to know about the glue. I really wasn't paying attention before I cut this. I didn't need to cut that because it would have just lifted right off. But hindsight's 20/20. Oh, look at there. That's better. Huh. It's quite an interesting structure under there. Look at that, huh? Isn't that wonderful? Now I guess I could take it out if I wanted to, maybe. That glue's probably a real pain to have to deal with. Oh yeah, I'm sure they glued the crap out of it. And you know, it doesn't hurt to have the strength anyway. Oh, how's that gonna... Yeah, we can come up with something, I think, up in there. Reattach it. That just doubled my work. Oh well. See you in a minute. Okay, well, we've been busy. I wanted the cowl to look similar to my old one. This was fiberglass, and I put this cowl on here. I kind of liked the swoop that it had, and it kind of leveled off. As you can see, little swoop to it, and then now don't necessarily need the swoop. We can just do this, which that's what that one's doing. This is roughly 5.5 inches. So what we have done, mocked it up a little bit. 4-inch block back here on top of that, so that's 5 inches, I guess. I don't know. But from here to here is 6 inches. I've got a block up underneath there, if you can see it, right there. And you can see the creases right there, and the buckle wanting to happen here. That's all fine. That's going to get cut right here, so no big deal. Now if we wanted that swoop, I could have left that not cut, but whatever. I like the more roundness anyway, I think. Loop the back, look at that. And we look at that. Well, pretty far away. Look at that. This is that one. That one looks bigger. Not sure why. They're both about the same. As far as width and everything. One's a little more boxy looking, I guess. I don't know. And I like the, you can see the curve here. I kind of like that, which this has got. So, I hope I have not distorted this too much. I've got a buckle right here, I'm feeling, because we've tweaked it up. And I feel a buckle here. So I'm hoping we have not messed up our line here. It goes all the way down into here. Guess we need to get our molding and find out. See you in a minute. All right, well, I'm doing something I've never done before, obviously. But I've got a block of wood under there with some pipe wrap foam to soften the edge of the corner of the block. I'm going to heat this area, not a lot, just to see what happens. That's not really doing much. I mean, that's warm, but what I need to be able to do is shrink this right here, and I can't. Can't get my tool in there. Nope, there's no way. Still no way. So, that's not working. I just want to nicely round that. I probably just have to cut the section out and just do it that way. I'm putting a lot of torque up here. See you in a minute. That was interesting. As I was heating it, that, as this was expanding, was going down, and when I cooled it, it kind of came back up. You know, just trying stuff. What I was trying to do is just heat that very edge, and that would pull it. And then once I cooled it, I would pull it and then pull that end down. Probably didn't really get it hot enough. I don't know, hot enough. I was saying. Alrighty, so there's our mock again. I don't have a block underneath there. It's just holding the shape by itself. Doesn't look too bad. Exactly what I want? I don't know yet. I don't know. I like the roundness of it. See you in a bit. All right, yeah. We were trying to shrink this, which we succeeded. My block of wood is no longer underneath there anywhere. I shrunk it with heat. I put a little heat on this so it would just let it expand and then relax in position. I got my curve that I wanted. I got my height close to what I wanted. I actually lowered this down probably about that much just to get that desired look I was looking for. And mocked it up and, well, let's get closer. That's what it looks like. So it's not quite as big. Not quite as big as that one. Height-wise, by about 1/4 of an inch, I think. So just measure it. Let's go from, well, wherever, there to there. Says 5.5. Which we've more than doubled what it was, because it was 2 inches before. It's hard to measure. About 4 3/4, maybe a little less. So, you know, quite a bit shorter, I guess, by about that much. Roughly. You know, depends on where you put it. So, by about that much. But I got the desired look. I wanted it to come up and then a slight taper up like that one does. It's just not as noticeable. It's about 1/4 of an inch from that curve to the back. So, what do we hear? It's hard to say. But, does it look good? Well, looks okay there. I guess we could, man, pick up your stuff. We can just put it on, see what it looks like on the car, you know. So let's do that. See you in a second. I drilled line-up pin holes, which is a simple 1/8 inch drill bit, to realign my hood hinges and let's see. Yep. Can't see that one because the hood's in the way. Here it is. Holy mackerel. Still not very easy. Well, let's see. Go easy. Lost a little structure. This is right up, doesn't it? There. That looks a little better. And yeah, I mocked it up by, not just tape, 2 little 1-inch square tubes in the back. But yeah, it's a little jiggly, but it's there. There's my fan. So what's that look like? Still has that angle up that I'm not real thrilled about. Why does it? Is it bending back while as we speak? Oh boy. Is it terrible? No. Do I like it? No. Too much of an angle from here to here. Look, it sags down on me. I wonder if it sagged. Here. That's sticking way out. Look what that did to that hood. This side's okay. This side's sticking way up. And look what it's doing there. It's pulling it down. Because the hood's crooked now. That's what I was afraid of. Oh boy, you make things fit. So if I were to pull it up that much, it would even things out a lot. I may have to get aggressive. Why I didn't pull this side up, I don't know. Probably because this side fell down. This side is from here to here. Go straight across. Basically the same. Tomorrow's another day. Well, it's not the next day, but I was able to squeeze a piece of wood back underneath there, and that looks much better. But in doing so, it'll leave indentations right here that you won't get that out. You won't be able to tap that down. I don't know if welding the piece in will hold it there enough. If the center will sink in on me. So I need to figure out some way to keep it in place. Tomorrow's another day. Okay. Okay, boys and girls, after sleeping on it, need to make the hood fit. I don't have any more room this way, basically, unless I take that nut out or get a smaller nut. And I don't think I want to. And what happened is the hood has teetered on me, see? And if I push it down, then I hit my bumpers, and that's fine. Let me check one other thing before I make my adjustment. And that's the other thing I noticed, it's wobbly when I lift it now, because I've taken a lot of structure away from it. It's just this piece anymore. I guess the grill is what I need. It's over here. My pile of parts. That's what all this is, pile of parts. Well, I gotta take those out first. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. These things. All right, well, I'm glad I put the grill in, because with a little investigation, you can see my gaps. Need to adjust this corner. My gap is straight. It wasn't bowed like I was thinking. It was simply, I had to go the opposite way with my striker. Now I can't get it open. I had to bring the striker out. And apparently I have to bring it out some more. All right, well, I'm gonna fight with that for a little bit. See you in a minute. All right, well, let's go back to where we were. Oh, look, the hood opens. Okay, so that's a huge difference from where it was. Not sure why, but closes. We got her nice and straight. Well, within reason. I'm not sure how this corner can come up a smidge. And that's as simple as that. So, yeah, now it looks straight. Yeah, just simply bend it. So, pops nice. Wiggles as it comes up. Sure, that will change once I get everything welded back together. Now, trying to decide, I need to find out where the LS sits. If I have to eliminate all this right here or not. If I do, I've got a problem. I've got a block of wood back in there. My thinking was I would oh well, let's leave it. Put a brace in here up to this piece from the lower inner structure to this upper inner structure, and just make a piece that fits in there, goes all the way around, and weld it in. Just like, oh, let's see, the light. weld it in, you know, in that space. Bring it from that edge right there down to where it was welded up underneath here. You see the spot weld holes. And that would take care of a lot of my problem. That would support it right there, right where that block of wood is. And that would be great. But if the LS with whatever intake is up on here interferes, then I've got a support problem, and I got to figure that out. So it all snowballs. Like I said, everything snowballs. I guess it did shut. There, now it's shut. All right, so we've got an LS sitting in the other shop. From what I understand, they're all the same. And I'm gonna go take some measurements, try to figure out where it's gonna sit in there versus the old bad boy that was in it, or that is in it. Still. See you in a minute. All right, so I measured the 5.3 LS out in the little shop from somewhere where the motor mount bolt would be to the very top of the truck style intake. So that's pretty tall. And I come up with, and I added a little to like 21 inches. Well, the 21 inches comes to the very top of the solenoids inside there. As you can see, that gives me plenty of room to spare. This fits up inside here. Now, if there was a carburetor on there, say it was a Holly, for example, be about so high. Couldn't put an intake on because of these. That's why I had a Predator, and it was sitting way up out of the hood. Well, not actually. I had to put a can on it to get it to sit that high up out of that hole with that scoop. Easiest way is to drop the motor in here. I know that I'll have plenty of room with the scoop. It's just, again, this right here. What's going to happen with that? So let's do something on the outside. See you in a minute. Laying out a template. Well, that should get us started. So I've laid out my lines using a block of wood to hold it in place, and just a light little mist of the ink, you know, blue ink, and voila, worked pretty good. Pretty crisp, except for, you know, one or two little spots, but doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. So let's cut something. Let's cut something with this one. If I can get 2 pieces. Oh yeah, I got plenty of room. Go back to the other one. Cut a little nicer, smoother edge. Now let's go bend some radiuses, little curves. All right, let's roll something. Okay, this is the bottom of our panel. Let's see how we did. I did have to come back and kind of round this edge a little bit because of the curve of the hood. Something the tape doesn't show you. And I'm going to have to do it some more, I see. Well, let's figure out what we have to do. I'll be right back. All right, you guys. For those of you who thought, oh, just cut a panel, put some radius on it, and it plops right in. That was me. No, it doesn't. You got to get somewhat of a curve to it to, well, yeah, better do it this way. tape's on there just for reference to try to put it back in the same spot. So there was a slight curve in here. Can't see it. You wouldn't think it's there, but apparently it was. So I got the bottom to fit. And then down here it curves in that way. Okay. And there's a slight twist at the same time. So we've got it where I think we want it. So I'm going to put a couple Clecos in here, I think. Maybe. I don't know if they'll fit or not. Just so I have a way to hold it, I guess. Worked just great. Yeah, that brace is under there. Probably won't work at all. That worked. Okay, so now what I'm looking to do is put one right back here. Actually, I want to, I can see I need to trim this right here. Just flatten it out some. All right, well, there's a start. We've got something going on. So, what I want to do now is, once now I've got this lined up, I will go and bend that lip in so I can get this to sit flush, so then I can trace it out and cut my patch out and weld it in. Simple as that. See you in a minute. Yeah, the hammering thing didn't work as planned, so we're gonna shave a little off. All right, well, next we got that side all fit up. Looks good. Everything's fitting pretty good right through there. Now we've fit this side. And it's not doing as planned. It's not, well, obviously it's not fitting. And let me show you why it's not fitting. See that? It's not fitting. And you say, well, Randy, it looks fine. Well, no, it doesn't. Because I've measured everything. Everything's where it should be. Distance from here to here, all that before I put the clecos in. I can feel a little dip here, nice and round, little dip here, and it's just not quite as round. I've got a hump and a flat and a hump, and exactly what that says. So let's push this little piece of wood up underneath here. See if we can't get that to go where we want it. Yeah. Nope. It's too... Well, hold on. This may work. Just jam it in there sideways. Well, it went in, but it's not doing what I want. Great. Well, it's almost doing what we want. I don't like that. It's creating a buckle. Well, let's try another way. Got my little degree finder, checking my degrees, make sure I got everything where it needs to be. All right, so check it right here. It says 71.2. If we go over here, 69.8. There we go. So when I cut it is when it's really going to be critical, but at the same time, a half a degree isn't going to show. There, there, and we still got to work on our fitment a little bit here and there. But we do any cutting. Yeah, that's a flat spot. Got to get that up. All right. Yeah. Anyhow, that's that. We got some panels made, but that's not all we got to do. Again, I mentioned earlier, about the inside. I wanted to get the outside squared away. And then we have to work on the inside, like I said. That space right there. And I don't want to weld those panels in case I got to get in from the outside. See you in a bit. Okay, after working on this multiple times and even off camera, I got this one fitting much nicer. One thing I did do is build a interesting tool dolly, a little rounded, so I could get it up in there. And yeah, it deformed my curve a little bit, and be nice to shape that, you know, for this one-time use, but we already did it. We got it up better. We got things fitting much tighter, and this would fit if we just did that. Yeah, your metal piece would just lay in place without any tension. That's in a perfect world. So we pulled this side off. Next thing I want to do is get inside here, go from the bottom structure to this upper structure. For the inside, done some measuring and asking on different forums. My LS should be at its peak about right here, which isn't even up inside. So that's a good thing. Because we still have something holding it underneath, and it's right here, is a piece of wood on this. So it's holding that up in place. But if I can build some pieces to run inside here, over to here, it should keep us where we want to be. Not the strongest stuff. Just need to cut that ear off, I think. All right, well, let's get busy on that. All right, well, I'm gonna mark out my little piece. Actually, I just put a little die on it, got a scribe. So I'm gonna measure my flange real quick. Someday I'll put this on a stand along with the other one, maybe. But it comes in handy if you gotta pinch something. Anyhow, shrinking. So we've created an arch by beating on it. And we had a bending brake that wouldn't happen. All right, well, with some straightening and stretching, as you can see, I'm getting the distance closer to 2 7/8 that I wanted. Not quite, but pretty close. Let's see how that fits. It's a little wrong spot. Okay, fits a little better. Not as tight. All right, flange is good. We good on the bottom. Now we gotta start bending this curve. That means shrinking. I'll just see that. I'm gonna keep shrinking. And I'm back. All right, 3 hours later, and literally, not just on this panel, but anyway, she fits in there. All the way up. And we got our curve. I don't know if you can see it. Try to put you somewhere where you can. See? It's nice. It's working. Would have been much easier with a bending brake. Basically lined up with our old spot welds, except for that one and that one because it's too short, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. Don't know if that spot weld is just out of place or what, because it doesn't look like it. Well, anyway, can't win them all. It's just in there for support. All right, let's make another one. All right, you guys, well, clean the backside of each one of these panels. The first one I made, realized I had a little wider flange on the bottom, which that's fine. So I utilized that, put it on the other side. All right, so then look what I ended up doing. I ended up catching spot welds all the way down. Perfect. So now we've got this one made. Same concept, shrinking, mostly shrinking, as you can see by the curve. Table work on the edge of it, dolly work. Got it where we wanted it. Got it measuring 2 7/8 as best we could. Might be off by a 1/16 here and there, like maybe here. And we're gonna stuff this up in there. Okay, so she's fitting. It's tight here because of the down pressure, of course, a little loose here, but we'll fix all that. All right, well, let's clean up some parts, get the rust off these things, and get them ready to fit. Well, after all that cleaning and prepping, we welded the inner pieces. I actually cut these loose just to see how much it would pop up and move forward, and it only moved maybe 1/8 of an inch, if anything. But it did relieve the pressure up in here. So I was able to tap down this little high spot, which is where the bottom comes. You know what I mean? The underbrace. So that's good. Didn't move our holes any. Didn't shift it. So tomorrow we're going to come across. I'm not going to weld this up yet. We're going to come across and cut this off. Move that back. And to position that, make a piece for that. Start welding some stuff, maybe. We'll see. So, like I said, we're gonna start doing some cutting and welding and stuff. So I'm gonna pull this panel off. I'm gonna trim this up and around these and get this to fit flush. All right, did some trimming, as you can see. Got as close to the edge as I could. I'm gonna do a rough fit. See, I left these little tabs. These are gonna be a little more difficult because I thought I could use my little Sawzall, my little tiny one, and zip right off, but that's gonna make it a little difficult. So we shall see. May just have to use the disc and cut it. But I want to see how well we're fitting and how well my idea is working here. I know it goes back in the same hole. When I mean hole, the hole that I cut for the piece. So, all right, that's got a gap right there. That's fitting flush. That's fitting, will fit flush. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna end up just tacking it in place. Try to see that everything will fit. Maybe making more work for myself, I don't know. Okay, so it'll tack in place. That we need a little more trimming on. That one's almost there. All right, more trimming. Be back in a minute. All right, we are getting there, I think. Pretty close. That's got a gap. That, I think, has a gap. Looks like it. I don't really want a gap. I want it nice and tight. Need a little bit. There. But as it gets closer to here, it's not going to push down like I want it. More trimming. Alright, everything's trimmed. I was going to try to maybe eliminate a couple of the little tabs I left, but I decided not to, just based on how everything was feeling. So as you can see, I welded a piece of wire right here, and that was to, because this doesn't mesh, okay, you can't, and it's, you don't want to push it down. Anyway, I need to pull that metal up a smidge. Now I could have used a stud welder, but I chose to do it this way. So that gives me a closer edge, smoother edge, but I need to be careful that I'm not going too high, which right there I am. So just trying to hold it in place while I tack it. Feels too high. Feels like it pulled up on me more than I wanted it to. But it feels too high because this tab is still here, which we're going to have to cut. So we'll deal with that in a minute. And that's how we do that. That's where that tab was. See how nice and tight that is. So we just keep moving on. That'll be good. See, I can get from underneath to push this around either way, or I could weld my little thing on it if I had to. But we'll get it. It's gonna take time. See you in a minute. Well, that's that. My little idea worked out. Leaving my Clecos in, doing the tab, cutting it off as I went. It helped make things a lot easier, I think. Gotta fix that a little bit. Maybe that one. Now we get to do the other side and then come back and cut this off and make more work. See you in a minute. Well, we've got everything welded up around here. Good and solid. Now we're gonna cut it out. So I'm gonna cut across here so then we can move this back a little bit. And you're wondering why this didn't just fall off. It's because we have that back panel supporting it all the way back to here. So I'm going to look at that, see if we need to separate the top from that to move it back, or if we're going to cut right through it and then piece it on both sides. Well, the good news is it's not glued, okay? It's just got a pinch weld here on the end. And I'm not gonna cut all the way through. I'm gonna take it off and then move it back, because if I cut through here, I can't get to it very well from underneath. Let me show you. It would be in, well, about 2 inches behind that little air thingy, and that's not easy to get to. So this would be an easier way. Take it off. I was able to get my little putty knife up underneath there, slide it across. It's not glued, and look at that. Huh? That's sweet. Voila. Well, they've sure put some protectant up underneath there. So yeah, here's our little pinch welds, which I'm gonna go through and pry that up a little bit, because I'm gonna use that. I am going to put a piece in here. I'm seeing something. Ah. Okay, this is what they did, is they used the 2-piece that comes over and then goes down, and it puts in the little breather panel that's attached. And then it goes down and attaches to the flange on the bottom. So that flange down there. So, in seeing this spot weld, I have to think about that a little bit. It might be easier, take these spot welds out, remove our little panel that we've got, it's cut up anyway. And just move this whole panel back and work off of that. I don't know, we'll see. Give me just a minute and we'll figure that out. See you in a minute. Okay, what we're trying to figure out now is how far back can I move this without interference to the windshield wiper or the windshield. The stick is the windshield, okay? you know, roughly within a few eighth of an inch, maybe. Obviously the windshield wiper. And that's up, so that's not a problem. How's it swinging down? Not a problem. And not a problem. The wiper falling off all the time. So let's move it back a little farther. Okay, well that's 3 inches back. It still looks like we have plenty of room. Yeah. Plenty of room. Even if we were up there, let's say, we'd have plenty of room. We may have to pull out. All right, let's just set that down. Oh cow. So may have to pull out one of the mounts, not the mount, but the spindle, and actually put that in there and see where we are. So I'm getting this close. I still don't see a problem. I'm thinking that's probably good. Far enough. Stand back and get a little gander of that if we can. If it weren't for the windshield wiper, I'd like to go farther back, but don't think that's gonna happen. So imagine curved into here. So I'm gonna go dig out that spindle, I think. All right, well, spindle's in, windshield wipers on, the best that it'll go for the moment, and there we go. So how much room do we have? We have plenty. Well, just to give you a comparison, see how far back that is, and that's basically to here. Okay. Go over to the old one. Now, I do want air to escape up through that. Old one, here's the edge of the hood, and use my finger. So that's roughly my knuckle, which let's give that 2.5 inches. So not a lot of difference, I guess. But a little bit, 1.25 inches more. So how much room do we need for air to come up through and escape out or be sucked in, which we're probably not going to have it sucking in. It's going to come through the grill and push up out like it did before. But we've got a smaller hole to deal with. So in a sense, what could be done is we come back and cut down along our inside panel, our structural piece for the scoop, and this gives us rigidity. So do we want to do that? I don't know what we want to do that. We want to cut right around, and that would be at the flange right there. Which that laps over into here some. Anyhow, we'll think about it. We'll see. That's another subject. And right now, we're looking at aesthetics. What's it look like? Is that what we want? I think that's what we want. Let's take the clamp off. We're mocking stuff up, which takes the longest time for some reason. So I think that'll be all right. I think that'll look good. So let me get a patch made for that. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to remove this piece, this end piece right here. I'm going to drill out the spot welds, literally. I'm just going to run it right down through because I want holes through both pieces. That's not going to bother me at all. We do have our brace still stuck down there, so I'm gonna have to get that off. See you in a minute. Okay, I just ran this through our tipping die. And anyway, got this little point going. Now we need to make it kind of curve like so. I mentioned that I could do 2 radiuses and make them do reverse and meet in the middle and weld it, and that's too much work, and we're going to try it this way. So as you can see, I'm doing that, and now I gotta create this radius from here, create that radius, and I think I can do that with a piece of pipe, I think. Here's our little template. Handy dandy dolly that I made. Don't know. How do we want to do that? Yeah, well, I think you get the idea. It's just keep playing with it until you get it. We're getting there. Never mind the blood. There. See you in a minute. Alright, well, I think I'm in the ballpark. Something that we can work with anyway. So slide that up underneath. Oh boy. Because I made it longer, said I need to slide that up underneath. I need to cut it. All right, so you're getting the idea of what I'm doing. Let's see if we can make this thing fit over here. Yeah, we got to move this radius in a little bit because it's throwing our point off a little. I'm gonna work on that, be right back. All right, so, going back and forth with this little thing. Made some marks, which probably was a mistake. Anyhow, trying to get that center lined up better here. Had to bend a little more, doing some finagling, and now I'm just trying to get it straight best I can. Elbow. Can't even hold the camera. Run that on the point all the way down. It's deceiving, but it looks like it's in the ballpark. I don't know. Mind, we're going to cut it, lift it up, weld it to the edge. And I guess I could, you know, move whatever direction I had to then. So we're still right on our old marks right there where that is. I'm trying to decide. Okay, good there. Trying to decide whether to put the panel underneath in first. Probably should. I need to mark this thing, make sure we're going to put it back in the same spot every time, and that's our handy dandy Clicos. So, this looks good here. Everything else I can make work. Now, let's look at the rest of this. What we do here. This gets cut out. Probably do that now. Just cut this piece off, clean this up, because we're going to come in with a piece of sheet metal. Cut this off, clean it up, come with a piece of sheet metal to here, to this very edge. And then we're going to spot weld. Yeah. Cut this thing off and get that cleaned up. I'll be right back. All right, so pre-marked. Well, I marked or whatever. Got my little Clico hole there and one on the other side I just drilled. Got that one to hold this and line everything back up when I stick it all back together. And something I was just wondering. I went by measurements. Well, my screwdriver's bent, so, but basically, yeah, same spot. So, good. So now, let's take that off. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to do underneath there? See, it's all traced out. Ready to trim on that bad boy. I need to figure out what I'm doing here. Right, I'm gonna clean this up and we'll make it fit over there. You guys are lucky you only get the highlights because I've been at this thing all day. So we've got our part cut, cleaned, a little arch to it, radius the edges a smidge. This piece is in. What's gonna happen is it's going to fit up in here on top of this piece. Mosquitoes are coming out. But anyway, so let's put this in like I had it. Well, that doesn't work that way. Oh, I got it on here the first time. All right. So that's on, I guess. Now I'm going to go from underneath and put a couple spot welds on that. All right, we changed the battery in the camera. We did our spot weld up in there. Good enough till we flip the hood over. And then we'll be able to do the other ones as well, maybe. Let's see. So, where are we? We are right here. And let's hope that we didn't spot weld this panel. to the inner panel. Take that off. That's the panel we just about welded on. So, next move is to pull this out, cut and trim this, and put her back in. But you can see, spot welds are fine. Originally thought I'd put it back the way that it was. Originally I thought, slide it underneath there, but that was making it difficult. But as you overlap something like this and air's flowing this way, it's smoother transition anyhow. So, works out for the best. All right, now, let's, you know, I gotta go cut and trim this, so bear with me on that. It'll be fun. See you in a minute. Okay, we got our panel pretty well trimmed out. Got my little tabs on. I just did a fit, and I gotta trim a little bit off yet. Okay, that fits. That fits is about as good as I'm gonna get it to fit. Oh, this right here, I forget. Got a little ear. All right, as I said, start on the outside, work it towards the middle. If everything looks good still, should be good. All day to get to this point. From, when did I start? Probably 10:30, I guess. Had to take the garbage out. And it's now 4:14. And you only get to see a few minutes of it. See you in a bit. Okay, we're trying to look at this top line. Looks like I got a little dip right in there at that weld. Small one, not huge. But, you know, trying to keep it as straight as possible. Because once it's on there, we're done. All right, so we've got this piece welded in. Yes, I moved it off of the car, so now I can get to underneath pieces. Did some grinding for about an hour. Looks pretty good. I don't like it in there, but being dished in like that, yeah, you can get away with some stuff. So, but I'll work on it some more. I want it all just to look like that. But I'm using a MIG welder, not a TIG welder. So it is what it is. All right, let's get started on making and figuring out what we want to do here. Be right back. All right, well, as you can see, I made another paper tape template. I'm gonna right now trim this little piece off, and then start, after that, making a piece of sheet metal. I have to roll a radius here. And then get started on making that happen. To be honest with you, I'm not sure why I just cut that little piece off, because I'm going to cut more than that. I'm actually going to cut it off back here, but I just wanted that out of my way so I could get a look at it, see if that's what I want. I could actually see maybe it coming in a little straighter versus an angle, coming around maybe like that. So I'm gonna play with that in a minute. Be right back. All right, made me a couple of pieces, and I put the tape over here to, anyway, tape has to fit, not that way. I don't have to put this way, sorry. Anyway, it fit. Should be identical, blah, 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 fits, okay? And the tape was over here, like so. As you can see, it's basically identical. And look how that one fits from one side to the next. I don't know why. I mean, look at it. I mean, I don't care, I can cut it off, but it shouldn't fit like that. It should be perfect. I see what yeah. That's what I did, right there. That's the cut line. So, yeah. Explains things, but doesn't really explain this one. Why this one is short down here. More of a gap up here. Our cut line should be higher up, basically. Well, there's a problem. Somehow, we ended up taller on this side. Let's get a tape measure. You know, the funny thing is we had that held inside to not move. But when we got out here, a little bit different story, and I don't know how to measure this. Say 4 7/8. Well, it says exactly what it says. Let's just go 5 there. And 4 5/8. So we're 3/8 of an inch off somehow from side to side. Measuring, we have 4 5/16. You know, we're 1/16 of an inch off. So, I mean, height-wise, from here to here. And I can hit it with a hammer and make that up. Probably just where we cut it here, one side to the other. Yeah, I think we cut it down about, well, there, on that side. So, make that one work, or do we make a new one? I'd rather make a new one. A little bit longer. I'll be back. All right, we cut out a new piece. We scribed it out. Now we're gonna cut and trim stuff out. Exciting. Never as simple as it looks. So we shall do some trimming, contour this in, and make that look pretty. But first off, we got to get the other one in there. So see you in a minute. All right, we've got them all tacked in. Now I made this triangle shape and realized I'm not really liking it. It just doesn't look right. So been playing around with it, came up with the green is mocked up, and trying to figure out, I think we like that more. So what I have to do is cut some metal and round it and then bring it out to here. And then, you know, cut. So let's get some, well, here, I have some metal made right there. So let's get that cut and weld it on and see what we can get done. All right, so there's that, I think. It's roughed in, I think. It's the way we like it. And I'll tilt the camera up so you can see it. Hopefully it's not doing all kinds of wibbly wobbly stuff. Anyhow, there's that side. And there's that side. So let's spray some ink on this side. And the shiny is all nice and everything, but kind of takes away from looking at it. All right. So we welded this up through here, and this up through here, most of the way. Gotta weld some other stuff, as you can see. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do in the back as far as bracing up through here, right, and up and through this area. I've got to put a lip like this has around here to give it some strength. That'll be tomorrow. See you then. All right, like I said, we got a lot of grinding to do, and that's what I've been doing for hours. This has been tricky. Trying to grind it flat and running my grinder across here. This is 18 gauge, this is who knows what, probably 22. And it gets really thin really quick. And I went down to an 80 grit flapper grinder pad, and that helps. But just I had to patch and do and weld, and I'm trying to get all these little pits out of here and any traces of a weld, because it will show. Now also right here my butt weld was really tight, both pieces. I mean, there was no gap whatsoever. Well, when that happens and you weld it, the metal doesn't have anywhere to go, so it's going to either go up or down, and it went down. So I'm going to do a little shrinkage somewhere, probably on both sides, just to give a little pull back so this comes up somewhat. Because if I leave that, I think later on, the heat of the sun, I'm going to get some kind of buckling going on. Well, the camera pulled its little bullshit freaking twisty screwed up screen crap while I was shrinking. So anyway, we got it shrunk up. Now I'm gonna hammer and dolly and try to get things straightened out. So I'll be back. All right, we're doing a lot of work to this here bad boy. And shrinking, and gotta pull some little areas up. Got shrunk this, got this weld up. This side feels good. Good consistent flatness, couple little low spots right here where it warped. This side, not so much. We had a more of a bubble here. We had tension pushing here, which sunk the weld down. Now we're going to pull up some low spots. Tried my other little, whatever it's called, a little spot pole welder. That doesn't work. Won't hold. Not this. Talking about the other one. Everything's just junk. Had this stud welder forever. Works. Just a little hard to feel your metal where you want it to go. Works really well. So now I want to show you something. Pour adhesion right here. When it flakes like that, big flakes, when you grind it, bad stuff. It's kind of like epoxy over asphalt, kind of what it looks like. It's not what it is, but that's kind of what it looks like. So now we just grab these right at the head and twist them off. Simple as that. Alright, well, I've got to do some grinding, so see you in a bit. Well, we decided to cut that out. Why not? Yeah, so got a big old hole now. But anyway, what I'm thinking, I'm going to get, obviously, this hood used to let a lot of air out, which was good. It didn't affect my time any in a quarter mile. So that's what I'm thinking here. It's just going to let a lot of air out. I still am going to put what it had with the thing with the, I don't know. All right, so we've got all that cut out. Working on this. Probably going to cut this out here and bend a piece, butt weld it to that, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, we've been working on the little deflector down in here, which you can't see, but I'll grab it, pull it out. That right there. And all that does is keep the air from going up through that, okay, and trying to escape out through here, because we're gonna, you know, close that off basically. And so that's not going to be good if it's trying to get up behind there, because, you know, air goes up through here and up through here, and then we're going to deflect it out through the hole right there. So that's what the deflector is for. That's one. Now let's make another one. hopefully the camera will not go squiggly. Basically same pattern, just reverse. And laid it out. Now we just got to cut it out and bend it. You know how that goes. So I'm not going to bore you with that, but see you in a minute. All right, everybody, still working on the hood. Been a little busy off camera. Did some fab work here. This is double right now. I'm going to put, see this little flange, I'm going to make a little mop flange that goes around here like that. Got my little deflectors tacked in up here, and this is a paper template for right there, so I can make this piece. Already made that piece that goes in here, as you can see, like so. Okay, so I've already got that piece cut out because, you know, I guess I didn't push the camera button, so you didn't have to sit and watch me cut this out with shears. But I am going to grind this and make it fit. So, see you in a minute. All right, got to make a radius on this thing, so here we go. All right, well, you get the idea. We slip it in here. We have our fold, which makes this right here, which isn't a lot, but it's just enough. It closes off that end. But right now, I gotta finish shaping. Gotta make that baby fit in there. So, I'll be back. All right, isn't you purty? This is number 2. Remember when I said that when I bent that flange it was like tapered? Yeah, well, that caused a problem. So I had to make another one real quick. It only takes a minute. So here's how it fits. See? Pretty nice, huh? So we'll get her clamped in and tacked in. Finish my thought. All right, I'm gonna finish welding it. See you in a bit. Well, it's almost all done, except for the grinding. So there it is, tacked in there. Like I said, I'm going to make a flange come around like so. So it looks like this. Why? Just to be difficult. Because I could weld this up solid, and it's not going anywhere. But if I put that flange on there, just give it a nice rounded edge. And we welded that up. So just gotta grind that. And I think we're like done for the day. So see you in a bit. All right, everybody, we're at the home stretch now and got a little piece made. Looks like a simple little piece, except I had to do a little stretching right here to get that curve. Now that piece is gonna go right there. Now we gotta weld that in. See you in a minute. Well, that's that. All right, We got the hood back on. There she is. I think I kind of like it. Looks a lot better than that little tiny thing. We got the shape going here. I got a little trimming back there to do where that tape is. Windshield obviously is going to be here. And we got plenty of clearance. Let's check underneath, see what that looks like. Looks good from there. And our little deflectors that go back. I got that little piece in. So, nice shot. I may put the screen back there that, you know, it used to have with all a bunch of holes in it. Haven't decided yet. But I like it. Looks good. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next video.